Well, good afternoon, folks. Thank you very much for joining me today. Appreciate certainly on a 2 o'clock on the afternoon here. It's great to see this many people. I wasn't certain how many people were going to be around. So thank you to Senken for the opportunity to speak about the Great Bear project. It's something I'm very excited about. My background is geology. I am a geologist, and I've had the fortunate opportunity to be involved with this project since 2017, back when Great Bear had the project and the first 1,000 meters on the project that I was involved with drilling. So stage we're at is very exciting. The bulk of my talk will be focused on our recent PEA, which we released on Monday. So you'll have to bear with me on a few of these. There's a few numbers in here that are not ingrained in my head. So with that, we'll move forward. Obviously, forward-looking statements, the normal stuff, so we'll leave it at that. Before we get going, I do want to acknowledge that our project is on the traditional territory, collective members of the Anishinaabe Nation in Treaty 3. And specifically, we've got very close relationships with Wabauskang and Lac Seul First Nation. Very good relationships. I've been working in the Red Lake area since 2000, when I didn't have gray hair. And I've had a relationship with the communities during that time, and it's been a really good relationship, and certainly look forward to working with the two First Nations and others in the region as we move this project forward. So just a real quick summary of what I'm going to get into. So like I said, it really is going to be focused on our recent PEA release. Obviously, introduction, you can read this through yourselves, so I'll dive right into this. So the PEA really is proving out our thesis of a high margin mine. We look at this as being a top tier production profile, strong margins, robust economics, high quality project resource, and certainly significant exploration potential as we move things in the future. You will see as we get a little bit further on, I'll be showing some long sections on our resource, but to date, we still have not bottomed out this resource. It continues at depth. Our deepest hole to date right now is a little over 1,600 meters vertical, and the mineralization to date is continuing. Also includes our very large land package that we have that we'll be working on as we move forward. So in terms of location, I'm going to assume everybody knows where Red Lake is. Our project is located halfway between the town of Red Lake and the town of Ear Falls, down the Highway 105. So roughly 24 kilometers out of Red Lake. We've obviously existing operating mines in the region, and really has a long history of gold production. Infrastructure between highway access, we literally are just off the highway. The yellow line is showing the main transmission line coming into the region. So obviously very close to infrastructure, as well as the gas pipeline in the region as well. And we'll get into it a little bit more, but the question always comes up: how much power do you have? We don't have enough. We definitely need to build on that. We started communications with Hydro One years ago, even pre Kinross acquisition in 2022. So it's part of the project, it's part of our build, but overall the infrastructure will be in place. So in terms of the acquisition, so the Kinross acquired the Great Bear project in February of 2022. The initial work started in 2017 with Great Bear. There are obviously some prior parties involved as well, but 2022 is when Kinross acquired the Great Bear project. So since that time, we have defined an initial resource that was completed in 2023. Another one was released in 24, and part of the subject I'll be covering today is the addition, I'll call it our mid-year addition to our resource. So since the acquisition, over 420 kilometers total of drilling since our resource cutoff. Our main focus really has been open pit, shallow window into the underground potential, and with an established resource of 2.7 million ounces measured and indicated, and 3.9 inferred. And you'll see, as I said earlier, what is not included in the current resource today is a number of results that that really shows that this is only going to grow. We've had ongoing baseline technical studies really de-risking the project. Obviously, we're conscious of challenges that other groups around Canada and around the world have had in terms of technical studies and perhaps advancing things a little quickly. We really have focused on getting this right, and it goes right down to the foundation of this project. And as a geologist, I guess I'm a little biased here, but I truly believe that the foundation of any project really is your geology. If you don't get your geology right, you can do all the planning you want, but if you don't get that right, it's going to create challenges in the future. So from our geology to all of our geotechnical work and everything else, really de-risking the project has been a focus as we move forward here. So a quick summary on our PEA results. Obviously highlights both strong economics and our positive technical attributes. So we're looking at roughly 520,000 ounces a year annual production with an initial 12-year mine life, $812 per ounce all-in sustaining, with a $1.8 billion NPV. Obviously, if you ramp that at 2,500, we're looking at 3.34 and a payback of 2.7 years. And within our CapEx, we certainly look at it, the Kinross team looks at this as being a very manageable CapEx that we can manage. In terms of technical attributes, very clean metallurgy, high recoveries, 95.7%. Mill, we are looking at a combination of an open pit and underground operations. This will be, with the exception of the Griffith mine, the old Griffith iron ore mine, this will be the first open pit in the Red Lake region focused on gold. So it's a combination of open pit and underground, and we're essentially sizing the mill at 10,000 tons per day. Strong underground as far as the widths for our high productivity long hole mining. Unlike other deposits in the region, and I've had the opportunity to work at many, the LP system that we're starting to focus on with these results state really is, it's a very different type of system and a different type of geology host than what's been seen historically in the Red Lake area. Hosted by felsic rocks, and because of the style of mineralization, we do have some exceptionally high-grade intervals and high-grade sections of substantial widths. But in between those zones, we also have low-grade that is mineable. We can make a lot of money at this. So this is why we're able to approach this from an open pit perspective as well. So I won't spend too much time on this one, but in terms of our production profile, so we are looking at 500,000 ounces per year production from basically a combined open pit and underground, driving a mill grade of over 4 grams per ton. You can look at our schedule here in terms of what we're looking at from the overall production in terms of mill throughput and gold production reaching out to 2041. In terms of high productivity underground, we are looking at basically ramping up the underground mining activities. We're currently in the process of finalizing some permits for a preliminary or for an advanced exploration program that will be focused on getting us underground, pulling out a 60,000 ton bulk sample, as well as really providing us an underground platform to drill from to infill and expand on the resource at depth. What we've seen to date, and obviously, you got to put a pin in the calendar at some point in time, but this is what this looks like from underground today. But certainly what we're seeing with our existing drill holes and what we see in the style of mineralization with this system, and other opportunities, we anticipate that this resource will only grow as we move forward. So in terms of mine plan summary, obviously we're looking at approaching this from a phased approach, basically high grade with the average milled open pit grade of 4.2 grams per ton in the first 8 years, and obviously some very strong geotechnical conditions as well. If we look at the underground mine plan summary at this stage, so what you're looking at, if you look at the slide where it says discovery on the left there, that is where our decline is going to be going in, part of our AEX project. And in the future, we'll be utilizing this infrastructure with our underground operation. We are looking at basically a standard long hole stoping, paste backfilling, and we are looking at eventually having the underground at a steady state of 6,000 tons per day. And we really do believe that the expansion of this resource at depth will only expand on the mine life of this project. Just to touch on the proposed site layout, obviously this is always a work in progress. I bug the engineers. I wonder sometimes if they're playing video games with some of their build-a-mine project, but like I said, I'm a geologist, so we sometimes battle. There's been a lot of work that's going into this. This is going to be a big, big project. And obviously this is our preliminary site layout. Key processing elements, look, the metallurgy is clean. It's a very standard process that we have planned for a mill. Standard crushing, grinding, gold recovery, and basically tailings. You can read the processes there. It really is a straightforward process. We're quite fortunate with this. Obviously, our processing rate, as I indicated earlier, we are anticipating a 10,000 ton per day mill. We are permitting at slightly more than that to give us that ability. If we wish to expand, we can. Capital summary, we've got very robust and contingency cost provides our confidence with our initial capital estimate. The one thing that this is a PEA that we've released, but I would say that the level at which we've gone into this PEA is much more detailed than what I've seen in sort of standard PEAs. There's been a lot of work that's been ongoing concurrent with the PEA work, a lot of PFS, FS level studies that to a certain extent we've incorporated into this PEA. So we're very confident with these numbers that we've included to date. In terms of path to production, so if we focus on AEX first, we're hoping to get the surface construction started shortly on our AEX project, and obviously rolling into end of 25 and onwards with our exploration decline. With our main project, obviously a lot of ongoing baseline work. We have already initiated the process with IAC, with the federal agency, for our permitting, and going through these timelines. We certainly acknowledge that the timelines that we're putting in are aggressive. They're extremely aggressive. And as time goes on, as we all acknowledge, there can be challenges with permits and timelines. At this point in time, we believe this is achievable, and we'll certainly stay the course to keep this timeline commitment. And ultimately with a production time of 2029. In terms of the resource estimate, I'll touch on this briefly, but essentially year end of 2023, 2.8 million ounces measured and indicated, 3.3 total inferred. Essentially our mid-year, which is part of this PEA, we're looking at 2.7 measured and indicated, and then 3.8 total inferred. So we've added roughly 500,000 ounces just in the first 6 months of drilling in 2024. So I'll walk through this relatively quickly, but this gives you a bit of an idea of what our end of year resource was. So when Kinross acquired the project, there was no resource on this property. We closed out our database at the end of 2022 and released in early 23, but essentially this is what the resource looked like initially. As time has progressed, end of 23, we've added more. And then 2024, it just keeps building at depth. The one thing I do want to highlight, shown in the yellow stars there, is these are results that we have at depth outside of the current inventory. And what it's telling us is this resource continues to grow. And we're very excited by the results we've seen to date. So in summary, Great Bear is a world-class development with strong upside potential. We've got a high-quality project supported by strong economics. We've got a very robust financial outlook. And we've got significant upside potential. So in closing, obviously significant progress since the acquisition, high quality initial project economics, and we've got a lot of significant potential for exploration expansion. And with that, thank you very much.